Developments in Zimbabwe, it's reported that the country needs to import 800,000 tons of maize following a drought that reduced the harvest by more than half. Reports also suggest that the country's economic situation is worsening. United Nations estimates that a third of the population would need food aid this year following the El Nino-induced drought. From Harare in Zimbabwe, we're now joined on the line by our correspondent Ephert Musekiwa. A very good morning to you, Ephert. How bad is the situation in Zimbabwe?
Well, good morning. The situation by the day is getting worse. The energy crisis is worsening each and every day. Right now, I am in Belvedere and in a fuel queue. The queue is now more than 3 kilometers long, but at the same station there is no fuel. Secondly, the same station where they sell LPG gas for people to cook with, there is also no gas. People are just waiting, and they've been waiting. Electricity, the station is actually running on generators because there is also no electricity. If you go into the suburbs of Harare, there is no running water. So the situation is actually getting worse.
What has been government's response to all of this, Ephert?
On Tuesday, when we spoke to the energy minister and asked him about the energy crisis and when they expect a solution to this crisis, he openly admitted that they had no solution in sight. What he said was that we need all Zimbabweans to come together and find a solution together, and it is not only the responsibility of government to come up with solutions to the crisis that we are currently facing. That is on the energy side. As regards to the water, they are blaming the water situation to the local authority that has not purchased chemicals to treat the water. They are also blaming it on the low levels of the dams, saying that since last year was a drought, there is very little water in the dams for them to be able to be supplying their households with running water. So then there is also the issue of bread. There is no bread in the shops. If you move into the shops right now, you won't find any bread. And their excuse is that they have to import the wheat that is used to make the bread. So they do not have the foreign currency that is available at the moment. But really, it's just one problem after another, and the situation keeps getting worse for the ordinary citizens.
There's also the problems with currency. Tell us about that.
Well, I think right now there is not available cash, physical cash, to do the rounds with. The promised 400 million that the central bank said was going to be printed has not been released into the market yet. So we still have a shortage of cash. If you go to some banks, you find there are queues. There are people waiting to actually get cash. And right now, as the government has declared that it's now illegal for anyone to trade in foreign currency. So really, people have to use the local currency, which is not available. So that in itself is also creating another problem on top of the problem that people have already been facing.
So you're saying a minister is saying that Zimbabweans must also come up with solutions. But under the current situation, are people even able to operate if they have, for instance, if small businesses want to bring about solutions for Zimbabwe? Are they able to operate without energy, without cash, without energy?
It is very difficult. You know, it's the situation is there's a lot of uncertainty. So I think also business people are trying to protect themselves and really not come out and do a lot of trading. When we started, when the new currency was introduced on Monday, the situation was not as bad as it is right now. But over the week, we have seen fuel queues that are growing. We have also seen, shortages or power cuts of up to 18, 19 hours. So really the situation is getting out of hand. I don't know if government will come up with a solution anytime soon, but I think most people are just trying to protect themselves and make sure that they get through this trying period, that they survive this, this brief period and take it up when the situation normalizes.
Ephert, have you got an update in terms of Eskom and ZESA?
Well, on Tuesday, the minister did indicate that they had paid 139 million rand to Eskom, and that Eskom actually confirmed that they have received the money. But the minister highlighted that money does not guarantee, immediate importation of electricity. But what it does is that it opens the door for negotiations. That now people can negotiate, as Zimbabwe can negotiate with Eskom to get fuel. They can negotiate with, not to get fuel, to get electricity that is needed. Because right now Zimbabwe is producing less than a third of its required electricity, and to meet the balance, they have to import it either from Eskom or from Mozambique.
Ephert Musekiwa, our colleague in Zimbabwe, talking to us about the latest economic situation in that country.